Welcome back. Have you ever dived into why you do something, why you have that habit, and whether it is serving you or not? Today, we're going to explore avoidance behaviours. These are behaviours that we do on a regular basis in order to avoid something. Is it to avoid an emotion? Is it to avoid looking back at ourselves and healing from what has happened in the past? So often we bury things so deep, and we do the burying through the behaviours that we do. Because if we continue to do these behaviours, we're distracted, we're doing something else, and we don't have to sit there and dive into the past to grab our many lessons of what has happened so that we can move forward not only a lot lighter because we have released this from our bodies, but also in a more enlightened way where we can look at what we do on a regular basis and ask ourselves some questions. Some questions like, is this serving me? Is this behaviour assisting me to create my dream future? The future that I have been looking at creating for a while, but I never seem to be able to get ahead with it because I'm too busy doing this or doing that. And because I'm so busy doing this, I then need to do this behaviour so that I can come into rest and restore. But are you coming into rest and restore? That's what we're going to look at today. So what are some avoidance behaviours? Food, alcohol, drugs. Anger, working too much, exercising too much. Social media. How much time do we spend on social media? And of course, one of the greatest avoidance behaviour is shopping. We even call it retail therapy. But is it? Certainly not when you get your credit card bill, that's for sure, is it? So why do we do these behaviours? A lot of the times they are socially accepted, and it's only when we do them to excess and we know that we're doing them to avoid something. Let's have a look at food, alcohol, drugs, okay? So we go out, we go to the pub, we go and do this on the way home. And more than likely, we're doing it because we don't want to go home. Why don't we want to go home? It could be because our marriage is not going great at the moment. It could be because we just need to unwind after our busy day. And we know when we go home, we've got the family there and I'm going to be full on again. So I just need to relax. But the issue becomes is when you are there too long and you end up drinking to excess. When you go home, you are not in a great mood because you're full of alcohol or even drugs, and you're just not your ideal self. So why do we do these behaviours? Well, as I said earlier, it's so that we can avoid what's going on in our life. And it takes a lot of effort for us to dive into the past, to look at our emotions, because a lot of the times we see our emotions as something that's negative, something that is working against us. Oh, if I only didn't feel like this, if I only had a better way of behaving, I would be able to cope with this emotion. But because these emotions keep coming up, I want to drown them. I want to suppress them in any way that I can. So the only issue is that the more we suppress them, the more that they will become depressed. And when they become depressed, you also become depressed. So you end up in this vicious cycle of working too much, wanting to unwind, then drinking too much, and then coming into these emotions that keep coming up. And then you have your family and your colleagues and your bosses going, what's wrong with you? What's going on? Why aren't you doing what you used to do? Why aren't you that person you used to be? Why are you so run down all of the time? And it just keeps looping and looping and looping. So much so that we start to have suicide ideation, which isn't good, because we get so depressed that we feel that the only way out is to leave this realm. And that's not good. And it doesn't have to be that way. That's why diving into your habits and asking that very important question, is this an avoidance tactic? And when you ask that question, you wait for the answer. And the answer is going to come from within. And more than likely, the answer is going to be, yes, it is. Which isn't good. Or is it? You know, I've found that unless you're aware of something, you don't know that there is a way out because you're not aware. So you don't think anything's wrong. But when you know that you are in avoidance over something, you can then take measures to figure out the best steps forward. And that's what we love to do at the Chaston Centre. We love to assist you to find those steps, those best steps forward for you. And it all does begin with stopping. So if you feel that you're at a stage in your life where these avoidance behaviours are no longer working and you want a better way, you want to start living and loving your life again, then reach out. Have a conversation. There's a link below where you can have a 30-minute conversation. But I'm here to tell you, you are going to be asked some really tough questions, because what I've found that it's through the questions and you being honest with yourself that you start to find the answers. And through answers, you then can create action steps. And through taking those action steps, you begin to create the life where you can live and love each and every day. But the first step comes with you asking yourself that question first. Is everything I do an avoidance behaviour? Am I in avoidance? And do I really want to come out of avoidance and start to live and love my life? Because no matter what has happened in the past, no matter who you have been or what has happened to you, you can always create a life where you can live and love each and every day. So reach out.